Question is why? And it's certainly complex. How much of it is really aging? Not that we understand aging, but how much of it is aging? How much is from immobility? Just that you're not used to playing sports anymore, you don't go to the gym anymore, you tend to be more sedentary. Some of it is probably dietary related, that we don't eat enough proteins, tend to eat poor quality carbohydrates, potatoes, white rice, white bread, that sort of thing, and not enough chicken, fish, meat. Sometimes it's hard to digest that kind of food too. How much of this is disease? How much of this is related to hormones? Lack of testosterone, lack of growth hormone. How much of this is related to some sort of low level of inflammation in the body that is not so easy to assess? Nobody knows. But people are starting to look into this because this is a big problem. Because people who don't have muscle mass, it affects your daily living. When I watch how people get out of a car, again, we talk about function. I watch how people get out of a car, and it takes them 5 minutes to the left leg, right arm, they're pulling, they're schlepping, it takes a whole, that's sarcopenia. That's functional loss. And again, I talk about a car, but there's all kinds of daily functions that people can't do. Opening up jars, going up and down stairs. There's many ways this impacts. If you don't have muscle mass, you will fall down. You can minimize your falls when you have muscle mass. You slip, and when you have strength and coordination, you won't fall down, or you fall down less, or you'll be able to brace yourself a bit on the way down. Who is calling me now? Okay. And conservatively, it's estimated that this costs the healthcare system, at least in the United States, close to $20 billion. So this is a serious issue, but it's not well defined yet, and not well known yet what to do. But certainly, a good, healthy protein diet is something that should be done. Resistance training, true exercise, with weights, supervised, is a way to go. And there's many. You saw the videotape of that gentleman, 87 years old. Falling down, weak. You saw him on the ball and doing all kinds of things. Right, they're remarkable. 87 years old. He's still doing it. And smoking alcohol is really bad. It's really bad. There's a whole industry. This was actually on the CBC this morning. I didn't hear it on the Current on CBC Radio, talking about growth hormone and testosterone replacement. So people are looking at these things. It's very tricky. We don't even understand osteoporosis yet that well, so this is an emerging field. But again, healthy eating and healthy lifestyle, proper exercise with supervision, it's hard. I don't want to be so jocular about it. It's hard to get up and go to the gym, and you start to do exercises, and it hurts, and it feels sore afterwards, but it's worthwhile, as all those people in the videotape will tell you. Now again, no matter what, our bodies get older. What we're trying to do is to slow down the rate of decline. Our hearts do get stiffer, and that's not good. Our maximum heart rates become less as we get older, but these things are modifiable. There is a decline, there's no doubt about it, but the rate is modifiable. Same thing with breathing. I mean, there's nobody winning, the 100-meter sprint in the Olympics who's 50 years old. Never mind 60, 70. I mean, that's just reality. Time is moving, so I'll go along a bit quickly. Changes occur in the neurological system. Again, there's decreased reaction time, balance. Again, nobody is hitting home runs out of the ballpark. Never mind at 65. Dementia is a problem. Dementia is a very serious problem. And its prevalence over age 90 can be over 50%. And, but the good news is you can make it to 90 plus, and it's only 50-50 more or less. It's not 100% sort of thing. Again, we have very good dermatologists and beauty parlors. look, we all like to look better. There's nothing wrong with that. Hearing loss has happened. This is also more with the iPod generation. This will probably be more prevalent. Menopause. Everybody's heard of menopause? Who saw the musical? Menopause musical? Yeah, itchy, bitchy, bloaty, sneezing. Who's ever heard of andropause? Who's heard of andropause? Have just even heard of it? Oh, okay, some people have heard about it. Again, like sarcopenia, there's really no clear definition for what is andropause. And the best definition I could find is a multi-dimensional change of life involving 5 aspects to varying degrees of intensity in men between the ages of 40 and 55. Well, it's sort of hard to define, but it's probably something like this, you know? Probably not that. No, probably not that. So there is a decline, and again, this is not very well, there's no sort of gold standards for these things. Like you go for a blood test, and if you have a blood sugar or so forth, you have diabetes. Case closed. Not really clear what levels of hormone in the blood would say that you have andropause. And some of the symptoms are thought to be fatigue, weight gain, muscle loss, depression, indecisiveness, sexual dysfunction, social isolation, drop of hormone levels. Not completely clear. But again, this is something you're going to be hearing a lot more about in the future. And you go on the internet, you Google these things, it pops up all kinds of different wellness centers, anti-aging centers. So we really don't understand it that well. The treatment is not exactly clear either. Right? There's all kinds of testosterone replacement in pill form, injections, patches, gels, and so forth. But nobody really knows really clearly what to do. There was actually a study that was published this summer in July in a very prestigious journal, the New England Journal of Medicine, one of the most prestigious journals in the world, where they were giving testosterone replacement to men over age 65 years old. I had to stop it last year because there was a very high incidence of heart disease, of heart attacks. But, and there's always a but, this was started in people over age 65. And some of those people already were ill with other medical problems. So the question, asked, what about if we started in, men who are 50-ish in fairly decent health? But again, nobody can tell you what the 30-year effect of taking these medications that affect every single cell of your body. Nobody can tell you what the long-term results are for those things. The short-term results, I have to tell you, are good. You see pictures on the internet, there's all these centers, you see people all of a sudden they got muscles and they're strong and the testimonies, they're alive and they're active. Okay, but what's going to be 10 years down the line, 15 years, 20 years down the line? Does anybody not know what this is? Remember, who was the first spokesman for Viagra? Who was the first person? Who was the first person, the first TV commercials for Viagra? It was Bob Dole, Senator Robert Dole. It was in his 70s at that time. It was amazing. Now, the drug companies know what they're doing. Eh? They pick the right person because they know that's where the money is, Could you imagine at a similar age, Winston Churchill? We were fighting in the beaches and the pills. Would he be talking about Viagra? But just to show you how the norms in society have changed, that this can be out there in the open. You watch the hockey games, right there on the board, right there in the most prominent part. It's Viagra. Nobody even blinks about it, So again, we remain sexual beings all our lives. Sometimes the expression of the sexuality is different, but we remain sexual beings all our lives. Frailty. Frailty is another interesting concept. Me as a geriatrician, these are going to be the 4 big issues. Dementia, sarcopenia, andropause, and frailty. These are the big issues now.